Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming back and checking us out again. This is No Homo, and I'm your boy Phil, hosting with my wonderful hosts, two of the most wonderful dynamic people that I know, Brandon Wright, Isaac King. Welcome. Hey, how you doing? What's going on?
It's been a week.
Yes.
It's been quite a week for the world. No longer receiving anything about voting, so that's great.
Yeah. Yesterday was a lot.
All over the nation now.
Brandon,
doing well. I think I share the same sentiments as Isaac. A little bit of just a little bit more air around. I feel, it's not as thick out here. I think now the election is over, in that aspect. And I just want to shout out the 219 for not voting in Jennifer Ruth Green. She's crazy. So yeah, be beautiful days.
You're gonna have to text me on that. I'm not familiar.
Honey, first of all, she wasn't even from Indiana. But anyway, a whole thing. A whole thing.
Drag her.
Listen. I loved her speech after she didn't win. It was really cute.
Oh, the concession speech?
Yeah, the concession speech.
Yeah.
Like, oh, girl.
Those are always so nice.
I love a good concession speech. I do. They just stick me in,
I mean, to really see someone put up that much front that they're okay, even their dreams have been destroyed. I mean that's happened on both sides.
Oh, absolutely.
Red side, but yeah. So
nobody's above it.
it's an equal playing field.
Right.
It was glorious.
Oh goodness. Well, I know we're in November. I know it's just the start, but it feels like the year is gonna just be gone in a heartbeat. But are we looking forward to the holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas time, all that stuff?
Not a huge holiday person myself. I like the food.
Favorite dish?
Ooh, well, that's really, you know what? For me, it's something really simple. It's my mother's dressing and my aunt's cheesy potatoes.
Okay. Okay.
Come on, starch.
Yeah.
On the flip side.
Okay.
His whole plate is beige, John.
Right. On the flip side, I'm
brown.
really excited. Right.
And brown.
Ombre. Yeah, I'm just really excited for the holidays for some reason. I don't know, last year was such a drag. So I feel like this year maybe just gives me a little bit more rejuvenation from last year. And I'm excited to see just some family and different things like that, the ones that matter, and just break bread. My mom is in Minnesota, so she's coming home for the holidays and different things like that. And I just look forward to having that type of holiday. We haven't had a big holiday meal like that with her here in a while. So yeah, she's coming home and she's gonna cook against everyone's wishes, but whatever. And we're just gonna have a good time with that. And I think Christmas, and I really did. I gave it 9 days. I officially started listening to Christmas music yesterday. So I tried my best. I couldn't keep looking at those Mariah Carey teasers and not listen to the same song from 80 years ago. So
trust me, do it. You will be a better person for it.
I have, what is it? It's the Light here in Chicago. They're playing nothing but Christmas music until the end of the year. So they are my preset, and it makes me happy.
Mariah B right now. Okay, Mariah B.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, and speaking of events, Brent, didn't you have an event recently that you put together?
Yeah, so in partnership with Nova Carmichael, we're part of the Young Professionals, the Urban League Young Professionals of Northwest Indiana. Very long title. We're working on that. We did a just a quick mixer to just meet community where they were at a nice spot called Midwest Eats. Had some great food, great drinks. We talked, actually a lot about voting, a lot about professionalism in today, modern day, and different things like that. What that looks like from I think our parents' perspective and our grandparents' perspective to what corporate America and professionalism and things like that looks like today. And even within that mixer, it's like, it was like, they used to have these a lot, but probably like not in this aspect, more so of this happy hour feel that we're doing. But it was really, really fun. And they also did, it was really, really cool. They did this like headshot. Everybody got a free headshot who RSVP'd. So it was really nice. It was really
Oh,
cool.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to release it. He said mine were really nice. So I'm just like, great, great, great. So yeah, it was fun.
Well, that's wonderful. Congrats on a successful event. Look at you bringing
Thank you.
services and professional things to folks. I mean, too bad, us Chicago folks can't go. It's only for Northwest Indiana professionals. I mean,
Let us have this, please.
Like we're like,
somebody gonna tap me on the shoulder like, we need to see your ID.
That's your
back
ID,
to the South Side.
Let us have this, please. Okay, this is the only thing we're holding on to.
Have your
right
space. Wonderful, wonderful. We'll go ahead and get us started with our first topic of discussion. And it is actually an honor as we talk about events. The legendary Lena Horne becomes the first Black woman to have a Broadway theater named after her. Brandon, you actually chose this article. What are your thoughts about it?
I mean, it's definitely a personal thing for me, but also I'm just so happy that she gets this recognition because Lena Horne, some people will say she was the first Beyonce. That's how it was introduced to me, I should say, by my dad. And ever since I was a child, I remember watching A Different World, and I didn't understand like where all the like fuss was. Like, okay, like she's like, she must be like some type of artist. And at first, funny enough, I think I thought she was someone who was like a fake artist on the show, but no, like my dad's like, she's real. And she's been doing amazing entertainment and just being a stewardess in our community for a long time of representation and things. So as I got older, I just got into her and different things like that. I love Stormy Weather. I love Someone to Watch Over Me. Just classics. And she's getting her theater on 47th Street, it seems. It was a theater that was built in 1926, and it was the Mansfield Theater. And now it's being named right after her. So I'm really excited as a fan, and also just happy for her legacy that she gets this title and moment.
Yes, that is wonderful.
I have a question. So that was Mansfield as in Jane Mansfield Theater, was it? Or,
I don't think so. Oh, I don't know. Let me say that. I don't know.
I'm just saying,
it was the
around
Mansfield.
the same time, so I'm just figuring like maybe.
It says in 1926 it was named the Mansfield Theater, and then in 1960 it was actually changed to the Brooke Atkins Theater. But now it is. And he was a critic. They were a critic.
Okay.
And now, and 2022 is being named after her. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll have to see it.
I mean, she is such a legend and such an icon, and she's a person who always got her flowers. Like, I mean, she kind of demanded her flowers, and she was a part of like the civil rights movement and all that, like, even before it was a movement, and and she could have like done the easy thing as light skinned as she was, she could almost pass for white. You know what I'm saying? And she never went that route. She was always proud of like, her African American heritage. And she almost lost her career at some point for being militant, you know what I mean? But it's just she just wouldn't stop. And they were never ever able to like, bring her down. So I really commend her for that.
I think it's just beautiful that we get to, even in post-mortem of people being gone, to still be honored, especially someone like that who probably should have had a theater well before she died anyway. So,
right, like
I remember her from The Wiz, and then I did research, learned about how instrumental she was in terms of getting the film produced, because I think at that time it was the most expensive Black film that was ever produced, because they never threw money at Black films ever. So so anyway, yeah, we honor the legend herself, the goddess, the epitome of class, Miss Lena Horne, and she looked amazing even into her late age.
I mean, until
like,
she left the earth, period. She
like
looked
her, Diane Carroll, like some of those, like
Yes.
Felicia Rashad, like they like never ever age. They just always retain like such a level of just sophistication and beauty. Like it's amazing. Patti LaBelle, like I could go on forever.
Debbie Allen. Yeah.
So, all right. So we honor her. We're going to move on to our next article. Actually, just an upcoming new series. I mean, I'm not into horror. I know we have a few horror fans that are on the line, but who wants to talk about the Friday the 13th prequel series that, you know, somebody is like, yeah, let's do a series about that.
As they love to just keep bringing up, I think, you know, old things that were really, really great and kind of reimagining it or filling in the gaps that, you know, weren't shared. So this is going to be put on by Peacock, which Peacock is honestly starting to kill the game a little bit, you know, with Bel Air and a couple of other shows. They've been like making their own name. Say it again, Isaac.
I feel that way too. As far as the streaming service, yeah, they're really getting there. That's
Yeah, they're upping the ante a little bit. And with this one, I think that this is one of those projects that I think they're thinking about being like a big anticipator and things. But yeah, Friday the 13th is getting a prequel series on Jason Voorhees' mother, who was the first original killer in Friday the 13th. Which I'm like, okay, I can see this happening. I can see how, you know, we get probably like her first, you know, moments or her first time kills and different things like that. Or even the story of how, you know, Jason was, you know, neglected and different things like that. Or if he, you know, there's a lot of theories out there that he was a twisted kid, he was murdered, you know, all this other stuff. But it's going to be a prequel set around that, and she will be the main antagonist. And, you know, we're going to have some hot campers that are going to be,
and hot campers. Counselors, camp counselors.
Camp counselors, yeah, yes, thank you. Camp counselors. Thank you. No, yeah.
Counselors.
Of age camp counselors, and I'm pretty sure, you know.
Those are the characters that always just like get spliced up. So
yeah. Right.
Those are the adults. So
right, yeah. Thank you, Isaac. Those are camp counselors that will probably be slashed up, and you know, we'll see a lot of the first couple kills and things like that. So yeah, it's Friday the 13th, the prequel series coming to Peacock.
Wow.
I'm all about it because I already watched Chucky.
There you go.
Chucky's phenomenal though. Like
it's really
hilarious.
Oh my god.
It's really good.
I mean, I swear there's a bunch of gay people writing on that show because that show is written
this season is by far just the most like beautiful, creepiest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Now Chucky's bald, but you know what? Anyway, love it.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is super campy. You can't beat their marketing. Like that little teaser they made about Chucky's hair. They relaxed it.
Glow.
Yeah, I was like, who is behind this stuff?
I used that gift. Yeah. It was really good.
Yeah, so
I mean, it does toss. You know, the wig does move.
It does toss. She does move.
Who has the best bob? Who has the best bob? Chucky or Velma?
Well, they said that Velma, this is just kind of an update that I found out, is that in the new Scooby-Doo series that's more geared towards adults that's coming out. I don't have the platform it's going to be on, but Velma is gay.
Yeah, she's going to be gay and it's lesbian, and it's going to be on HBO Max.
Max.
Also, that whole like the new Scooby-Doo cast is super racially like ambiguous. Like Shaggy's Black, Daphne's Asian.
Well, I mean, but Velma being a lesbian is like, oh yeah, and water is wet.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. What time is it? 8:02. Oh, okay, yeah. Thanks.
You know, we've seen it coming, but
it
was there.
The recognition, right? The inclusion. So it's important to be able to have that. even beyond it just it being unsaid. So I think that's wonderful. As we talk about like all these topics just flowing into each other, we'll talk about inclusion actually in the real sense because Brandon as well, you shared this article about Dwayne Wade responding to his ex-wife. And this is according to CNN. Also, the article or the report about the Lena Horne Theater was also CNN as well. But yeah, did you want to kind of open us up and talk about this particular story?
Sure thing. I think a couple months ago, Zaya and family announced that they were going through, with actually changing their name and starting hormone therapy and different things like that for Zaya, under Zaya's wishes, but also with the support of their family.
Is it Zaya or Zaya? I think it's Zaya.
You think it's Zaya? Okay. I'm sorry. It's Zaya.
I call her Zaya.
Zaya, okay. My mistake. I'm sorry. It's most likely Zaya. Through Zaya's support and different things like that. And I'm really gonna butcher their biological mother's name. I want to say it's Siobhan, or
she can just be Dwayne Wade's ex-wife.
There you
go. Dwayne Wade's ex-wife has been vocal about this process, but recently went on a tangent about how they're using Zaya's identity as a clout, for their personal endeavors and things like that. And Dwayne took it to Instagram to say a couple of different things, but I just want to highlight some of the things that he shared about Zaya and their journey as parents, and as well as Zaya's journey into their trans living in life. Basically, Dwayne said, "Okay, you ain't been there, so." Like, what is there for you to really tell or to say, like, at all? You haven't been there for anything. He's like, birthdays, doctor's support, anything. You have not been there. Like, with the steps that you've been taking, you've been far away as a mother. And also he, starts to glorify Zaya for
Brandon, just why don't you just read the read that he did? I mean, I think
it's long.
I don't know. I think it's not too long.
I think it'll be cute. Yeah, read that
because he like really like he didn't hold back any punches about it.
Can one of y'all read it? I'm like, it's long. I don't want to keep like flipping and trying to guess people's names.
Let's see. Okay, let me.
But he got into some stuff.
Well, Isaac, how do you feel about it as I pull up the tweet?
Okay, I mean, I just don't think that it even makes sense for her to accuse him of trying to profit monetarily off of her being trans and changing her name. That doesn't make any sense to me, because he's already so wealthy. Like, he doesn't need Zaya's money from her modeling and getting out these like fashion and beauty campaigns, because that's what it's about to be for her. That's about to be her life. She's about to be another Willow. She's about to be another Jaden Smith. Like, that's gonna be her life.
Okay. But you know what? But that, yes, I totally agree. But I feel that they're probably getting more negativity anyway. You know what I'm saying? And I felt that what his ex-wife was doing was just like doing this whole, because everybody gets so like, it feels like if you say the word trans, like people instantly think of surgery. And I actually was getting into it with somebody on Facebook in one of these groups that I was in, and they were like, well, I would make sure if my child wanted to do this, they would have to wait till they're 18. And I'm like, what does it matter? What is 18 is the legal age that the United States has set for adulthood, so people can buy cigarettes and
AR-15.
Right. But if you go to France, it's 16. If you go to parts of Asia, other countries, it's 14. Like, they're just government presets. It doesn't need develop into some mature person from 17 into
Nothing
18.
Nothing just clicks over at 18 or at
Yeah.
21. Like not like life just not just start or something like that.
Can we like just like even just like follow the science on this? Like if you're 18 as a boy or a girl, you are already have gone through puberty. Okay.
Okay.
Some of those kids, not all, not half even, but some of them will need the hormone blocking therapy because that's who they are and that's where they're going in their transition.
Right. So they can
this
be
18 years old shit is,
and actually I had to dispute someone. I actually had to go and get like actual data because they had said, well, majority of trans teens are on hormones and they're getting surgeries. And I said, so when I did the research, it was less than 2.3% because
exactly.
Because we don't provide health care, right?
Right.
So
I was gonna say, how can they afford it at that age?
Say it again.
I was like, how can they afford it at that age? Like,
and then it's the same. I think it's even less in the military, but then like the last administration,
right,
right, who will remain nameless. They tried to they literally, excuse me, they tried to boot all trans people out of the military, and on top of that, they blocked trans people who wanted to actually get the transition while in the service.
Right.
And
because it was covered in the military.
Crazy. But they don't want to. They're fine with Viagra costing like millions of dollars for the military. Like we gotta have hard dicks, no matter what.
But even my point to the person I was talking to was that despite if you put hormones and all the stuff people think about off to the side and they think they're going to put someone's genitals in a jar and give it to them after the big surgery happens, the real thing is just saying that acknowledge who they are. If somebody says this is who I see myself as, this is who I identify as, hormone surgery or not, that's all that these trans children, teens are asking for. Like, why is that so hard? People pretend every day.
Yeah, and you know what?
And they're actually being authentic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, absolutely. And I don't want to like talk about this forever, but even, and I can't stand Caitlyn Jenner. I can't stand her, for her politics and just so much other stuff. But it's sad that she had to wait till she was 70 something to like literally like transition. That's sad. That's really sad. Because she said she was always that person, even when she was bruised and winning the decathlon, being a gold medalist and being proclaimed the best athlete in the world.
I'm on a Wheaties box.
On a Wheaties box.
Yeah.
And even having a family and having children,
Several families. Several.
Yeah. Wow. All right, so we'll move on. I'm gonna just read the tweet real quick, just a piece of it. Right. I feel like this is like the most, sickening part of it. While none of and so this is what Dwayne Wade said, while none of us are surprised by Siobhan's attempt to fight Zaya's identity and her unwavering attempt to drag my name through the mud, I am very disappointed that she continuously finds ways of centering herself and her needs without regard to her children, he added. This report came out while Zaya was in class. This is a kid who has maintained a 4.0 GPA in honors classes while navigating all the unsolicited and harmful attention and debates about her gender and sexuality from those who are committed to not listening to her, much less even knowing her. So at least Zaya has, or through Dwayne Wade, he as a father is so supportive to Zaya that he can publicly do that. You don't see a lot of that from you know,
Mm-hmm.
certain collective of dads. So anyway, it's good to see.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We're gonna move on. We ain't gonna make this the Zion them show, y'all. We're gonna keep it moving.
But we support you and love you.
We really, really do. So we'll keep it moving. So we actually are moving into some other territory, though quite interesting with all the stuff going around with. I mean, actually, this is like one of the first shows we're not talking about Kanye, thank you. But he has a counterpart in the NBA, it seems, or maybe I'm assuming. But Kyrie Irving posts an apology after getting suspended from the Nets over anti-Semitic message. So I'm not 100% familiar with all that he said. This is from the Huffington Post, but there's so many mixed messages that I'm hearing about that he's being punished for no reason, that what he said wasn't all that bad, or he was looking for clarification. And so I'm gonna put this in y'all's hands, or Brandon, if you want, share your perspective on it.
I feel kind of the same way. I don't know exactly because there's so many different, like, points of view and different things like that on what was said and shared. From my understanding, it was a movie that was shared, that it was a single tweet. My understanding again, that is a single tweet that he shared of a link of the movie, telling everyone to watch this, that did have that messaging and different things like that. And he got suspended for 5 games because folks said that was anti-Semitic and things like that. So it's like, do I know the film? No. I know that there's a couple of basketball players that came out with their support with him and saying that this was very, very harsh. And there's also folks who, said the other side of things, saying that it wasn't, and that it was pretty daunting that he shared it. So I'm not like the most versed on this one. I'm kind of like in the weeds.
No. I just to add, the documentary was called Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America. So, but I think about kind of what happened earlier, and I'm gonna kick this over to you, Isaac. But didn't Nick Cannon get in trouble a couple years ago about saying some, you hear all that stuff on certain street corners, that we're the original, whatever. So
I think that's why he lost his show, but anyway.
But he seemed to come back, like, yeah. So I don't know. What are your thoughts, Isaac? How do you feel about it?
I just think that it's unfortunate that Kyrie retweeted that, because you can feel the way that you want to feel about people without outwardly being racist or anti whatever their culture or religion or race is. You know what I mean? People have prejudices. That's just a common thing. People have prejudices. I get that. But why do you have to go out of your way to demonize a whole people? And then when you're approached about it, you double down on it, in the interview with in the world's watching. That's so crazy to me. But from a person, because Kyrie's he has a certain perspective. And for a person who believes that the earth is flat, I mean, I'm not so surprised.
And wouldn't get vaccinated. It wouldn't get vaccinated. Okay, for people who believe that the earth is flat, right? If you fly a plane to the end of the earth,
okay,
what do you run into?
Do you just fall off? Right?
What do you run into? I didn't know he said those things. I'm not a sports follower.
Yes, young Jedi. He sure did say that.
And Brandon with a socks cap on, talking about, I don't follow sports.
This is my brother's hat. I don't know.
I don't follow sports.
Don't ask me. I'm not a fan. Don't ask me at all.
But I definitely didn't know he said those things.
But I think it's just funny that because even as individuals, right, we're not famous people, but like I feel like we have like from our own not following, but just our own connections, right? That you have to be aware of. There are things that I would never share or post. Not that I harbor any type of prejudices, but because I don't want a certain messaging to be construed with me, or so you can't like this guy had a or had because they're ending it a deal with Nike, millions and millions of dollars. So like, how can you just post something without any area of consequence, even having your publicist person say, okay, you're going to post this documentary, let's watch it and make sure that there aren't any
Right.
things that's going to look bad on you or whatever before you share it. Or
It.
if it's a product, we should test it to make sure there's nothing behind this. Like, I just don't understand the thinking when these folks have like teams of people working around them, and then you can't tell me that they're not working with all different types of people, whether they're Jewish or other nationalities, all the time. I just don't understand.
I mean, Jewish people were quitting Kanye's Donda Academy, allegedly.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? After all this stuff happened, then he had to like settle with somebody, an employee, that because of his anti-Semitic remarks, allegedly. So come on, like you can't like do that and still like expect people to receive you the same.
Brandon, you probably have grown up more in social media, out of all three of us. Like, do you feel that people kind of blow things out of proportion? Do you feel like there's so much mixed messaging? Do you feel like, I don't know, like I felt like growing up, athletes had to have like an image to keep up. That was like, I kind of grew up in the last like Michael Jordan, be like Mike kind of era that was really popular, even though he's like allegedly a huge asshole. But they knew that was important to do. So I don't know, what are your thoughts like overall, like now that you know that he said a lot of those things and shared some of those beliefs?
Gosh, I think that, well, one, I think that kind of still has some like weight to it when it comes to like, you having the image and things like that. I think that we've seen what it kind of looks like when you do, I guess, like, I'm gonna say go against the grain or say things that are racist, that are not cool, that are not right, that are just, unjust on all fronts. We see, things being taken away, cancellation, cancel culture, and different things like that. So I want to say the importance is there, but I do think that social media gives you a leeway of kind of bucketing what you want to share and what you want to say, and playing that like field of, this is freedom of speech, this is my account, I can say what I want, versus like your endorsements are on the line, like be quiet, or like if this is how you feel, like let's see what to do with you, or see what you're really about, type of thing. And I think that's where the frenzy comes from. Like that's where, like, I think a lot of people get lost in what the issue is, what's going on, and the huger, larger conversation comes into play. And I think that that's one of those instances here, because I think even just from my knowledge, but again, the reason why I also feel like this kind of like blurred my lines a little bit is that the people that were speaking about this conversation were Black cis het men. So I saw my cousin, I saw my brother, who tend to have each other's backs. So no matter what, it doesn't matter what they do, they have each other's backs. So it's like, I feel that the reference that I have for this, like, article, or even in just like other instances as well, everything will never be a big deal to, a Black man supporting another Black man when something is wrong, or something is perceived as like, brother, you need to do better. It's never, brother, you need to do better. It's freedom of speech. You can say this stuff, or different things like that. And it's like, even what you just saying, like the earth, he said the earth was flat. Like, oh my God, like, so something, clearly maybe there's something going on, but at the end of the day, when you do have that undying support, I do think that even, I guess with Kanye, I know we're not trying to talk about him, but Kanye, like, it's a lot of conversation now about how people are like, okay, Kanye's losing it. We need to think about how we are supporting him, even though like they're like separate the artist from the music and different things like that. Because he can put out an album and we love him again, but then he goes and does stupid shit, you know. So it's like,
I think that whole argument is so stupid.
It
yeah,
really is.
yeah.
The
But I
thing
think that comes from
It's a really ridiculous argument.
it comes
Because
from people who don't want to hold them accountable. That and
no,
which is your
I mean, and I'm totally about, and I'm not even gonna say what side of the fence I am on, you know, artists like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
MJ or R. Kelly or, you know, Jerry Lee Lewis or Elvis. I
The
mean,
list goes on and on. Right.
Woody Allen. You know, I'm not gonna say like what side of it I'm on. I'm
Mhm.
just saying that I totally can separate the artist from their work. I totally can. I what I can't tell you, what I can't say to you is that I'll buy anything
Well,
that's related to that person. Like I can't say that I'll support projects or, you know, buy anything that would enrich them. I
you know,
can't say.
I don't. So for myself, I try not to ever meet celebrities because I know deep down my perception of who they are and who they really are is always going to be different. Even the most sweetest, wonderful people. And when I worked in media, I met like a lot of nice celebrities. So it was cool.
Mhm.
I never had any bad interactions with any, but people all do things that aren't nice, you know,
Mhm.
and I don't think that someone being talented or someone in this day and age, you know, someone being successful or having money equates that they're this really moral based person
Right.
because
Mhm. Mhm.
no, they just knew how to work their talent to become popular and make money from
Right.
it, you know.
Mhm.
And I hate that we're in a place where celebrities get to have so much say in our political, social, economic climate.
Mhm.
Um, when it's really like you made a great album, like I want to get dressed and go out to this. I want to, you know, hang out with my people or drive down the
Take that
highway with the
drive.
top down. Like
Mhm.
that's what the feeling is. I'm not like I love Anita Baker. She's coming to Chicago next year. Me and my
June
really good friend
30th.
June 30th. Yes, like we
Mhm.
like buy tickets. The tickets are like $200 to be at the back of Allstate Arena. Okay,
Right.
but I ain't never been like, you know what, Anita Baker needs to run for Senate. You know, like I've never.
I want her to be my alderman. That's all I'm
That
asking.
doesn't make
Dear
any
God,
sense to
I don't
me.
ask for much. Can this person be my alderman?
Listen, I want the same old love to be in Congress. You know what I'm saying? Like we could roll all that in there,
I'm
but
already stepping.
I can
I'm already
acknowledge and see
stepping.
someone that made albums that I enjoy growing up as a kid and I enjoy now, but I don't need her to have perspective over my life. Like,
Right.
No, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
oh goodness.
It's
Sorry.
layered. It's layered.
It really is.
It is late.
It's layered.
It's deep, y'all. It's deep.
But
So
Anita Baker for Senate. Anyway, go ahead.
And for alderman, I warned in Chicago.
she's on tour now. You gotta let her get on tour first. She just lower the ticket price. Can you just
Woo!
sale or
No,
something?
I'm telling you, she is the
Please.
Beyonce. She is the Beyonce of the '90s. I swear to God.
Okay.
And we don't know if she's gonna come back. So you gotta get your
At
tickets
all,
now.
at all, at
So
all.
oh good.
Mhm.
Well, we're just about to get even deeper because Isaac, I'm actually gonna throw most of the segment to you. And you know, we're coming off the heels of election from all over the country, from Election Tuesday this week.
Just let me know
So
what we're specifically talking about.
Like, where do I start? Where do I start?
I know.
Right.
So I was gonna.
I don't know specifically what we're talking about.
What you first shared was overthrowing support behind Fetterman
Okay.
in the Pennsylvania Senate race.
Okay.
Yeah, this from the Huffington. The article is from the Huffington Post, by the way.
It's from the Huffington Post. But everybody everybody ran the article. It was amazing because, as we all know, we should know, Oprah created the monster that is Dr. Oz. Okay. And, he's from New Jersey, like, Snooki, like, she literally made a whole video telling y'all he was from New Jersey and that she'll be welcoming him back because he wasn't going to get the job that he was applied for in Pennsylvania. So Dr. Oz lost. And right before he lost, I think 2 days, 3 days, 2 or 3 days, Oprah literally endorsed his challenger, his Democratic challenger,
Right.
John Fetterman.
Who
And she's like, well, but it was so like, she was just talking. She's like, oh, maybe if I lived in, if I lived in Philadelphia, if I lived in Pennsylvania, I would totally be like voting for, Fetterman for, most of the region. So it was really like, kind of what, but the media like totally ran with it and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I don't take that lightly because Oprah is really one of the reasons that former President Obama won both of his terms, especially the first term though.
Well, he was the only politician that she ever endorsed publicly.
Right.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Presented him. Yeah, she welcomed him first and to the national stage.
A whole rally in a stadium.
In a stadium, yeah.
In a stadium for him.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. I wonder I guess people get into politics for all types of reasons, but this age of reality show, TV show people wanting to be in the limelight, like I don't understand. I mean, I know that Reagan was an actor, right? Fine, but there's not even any type of like
not a very good one.
Well, sure, but I mean, at least he started from somewhere. Like, he actually had a political journey. Like, they're like, oh, president, Senate, you have no political experience. You just want to what do you want to do? Like, of course, make it about yourself. But I don't know, Brandon, how do you feel about this new age of politics?
I think that, again, I don't know if we can throw social media with this one, but I just think that there are a lot of people who are thinking about politics, and I think mostly pushing their own agenda, trying to do that more so, I think, through their campaigns and things like that, instead of thinking about the people. And I think that we're going to get into that later, so I don't want to share my sentiments too hard with the millennial piece yet.
Really all of it
Yeah, I mean, honestly, but I think that
I'm gonna swear, but yeah, in a nutshell, that's what politics is. So anyway.
But I think I just have like a really bigger point that's really, really huge that I would like to point out in this matter. I didn't know that was Dr. Oz. You learn something new every day on here, and I can't.
Who did you think it was? Because they're using his full name.
I think so. Honestly, I really think that's what it was. But so I'm looking like this is
But his first name was not Oz,
It's
right. Isaac, please fix your face.
Brandon saying he didn't put the two together.
I'm just saying, I'm like.
You learn something new every day on the No Homo show, okay? Like this, but yeah, that's my biggest epiphany, right? Okay. But yeah, I think it was funny to kind of think that she did go against the grain with him, and like I don't know if she did not understand what his running what his things were, what his if he had a clear vision or not. But at the end of the day, Dr. Oz was on the ballot.
And he lost.
with a syndicating television show. So, yeah.
I'm lost. Isaac,
Yes.
well, that's Pennsylvania. There were quite a few
One state
elections.
down.
Yes, one state down. Your thoughts from Georgia to Florida to Texas
Oh God. Okay. So
in the
Beto
red wave
O'Rourke,
that never.
Beto O'Rourke didn't perform well in Texas for governor. So Gregory Abbott won. Stacey Abrams didn't perform well in Georgia. So Kemp won. And it looks like Warnock and that esteemed Rhodes Scholar, Herschel Walker, are going to a runoff. I think it's like December 6th or something like that.
Okay.
But otherwise, like stuff is like really, really good. Like there's supposed to be like this big red wave, and it never happened. And I've been like loving watching like Fox News like admit that it doesn't happen, that it didn't happen. Like for, I mean, all of their news shows, like they just admit it. And like there are people even on there that who are like Trump supporters, like anchors, saying stuff like, please, President Trump, don't run in 24. Because so many of his candidates that he endorsed, especially for like congressional,
light a candle.
They all lost. They all lost. So yeah, like I said, I said this on Facebook. I said I was expecting this big red wave when I woke up. I said it just seems to be more of like a spotting.
Come on, spotting. A spotting.
No way. Ain't no
the
way.
correlation. The correlation.
No way.
They were the red wave was gonna be blood, but it turned out to be Kool-Aid.
Okay. A little hot sauce.
Oh my God. Anyway. So yeah, like I'm really feeling great. I thought, oh my God, we're gonna be in Handmaid's Tale after this election or whatever. We're at least gonna I think we're gonna hold the Senate for sure, and they'll probably get the House by like a couple of votes, and hey, they'll do what they want to do with that. But I mean, at least they won't be able to do anything until the next presidential election comes. So
yeah,
that's that. But yay, we still have democracy for now.
Oh goodness. Well, it certainly is a time to be alive, and you realize just how precious democracy is. And kind of bleeding into this other story. Thank you, Isaac, for just bringing us through that traumatic moment this week with such ease, because I know I was stressing out. I couldn't even look at social media. Yes. But I didn't even look at social media that much. But we're gonna kind of come back a little bit just to touch on a story that happened early last week. So this is according to what is this called? meaw.w.com. Hey, just representing the source. Takeoff from the group Migos was shot to death in Houston last week. So from his death, a lot of conversations were happening around violence within the rap community, because he's one out of many that have been killed. It really is. It's not like an isolated thing. I mean, from Nipsey Hussle to Brandon, I'm going to reference you just because you're younger than me. But the rapper that got killed at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in California a few months ago.
Lord, I'm about to kill. I know. Well, Pop Smoke was one, but that's not the one I'm talking. That's the one you're referring to.
I know.
I
I
believe
know
he.
what you're talking about, but I just don't know his name. But
I believe he has pop in his name too, though. I do, but I think it's like pop rock or punk rock or something like that. But and we're gonna reference that. But yeah, Pop Smoke like recently, before 2022 ended, was murdered as well due to gun violence. It's been a recurring thing. I really want to find this
PNB
guy's
Rock, that's his name.
PNV Rock. Mm-hmm.
Draco the Ruler was also someone else who got killed. Like
Mm-hmm.
Juice
Yeah.
World, I think also as well. It's quite a few. I mean, I remember
Mm-hmm.
just Biggie and
Oh,
Tupac being like the two, but you didn't hear about
Young
rappers.
Dolph.
Young Dolph, yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
happened in Memphis.
Sure did. Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Do you feel that people are talking a lot more about violence and kind of how promoting it through music for the past 35, 40 years has been a contribution to some of that? Or, I mean, how do you feel about just overall, even hearing the news?
you're talking to me or Brandon.
That's my, I think.
I was, whoever wants to take it, it's fine.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm older than Brandon. You know what I mean? So I've been going through this, since Tupac, since Biggie. You know, um, I hate to feel like I'm sort of jaded at this point because I try not to be about things that I really care about. But I'm starting to feel jaded about this because after, 30 years, like we haven't even learned, you know. I see grown men on social media like arguing about Nicki Minaj and like what's this other girl's name? Like
Lotto.
Big Lotto.
Lotto, like Lotto. Like,
Lotto.
I mean, what they don't know is that they are promoting violence because people who follow what they're saying on social media, some of those people aren't wrapped too tight. And they'll go out to defend the honor of somebody that they don't even know.
Right.
In a violent way.
Because they made a CD.
Be a champion.
Mm-hmm.
Or even attack them because, that they have jewelry or something like that, or
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Brandon.
I have mixed feelings. I think that the one thing that kind of really stuck out to me when I first heard the news was that it was over a dice game. And I was just like, your life was taken over a dice game. I don't know, there was like a winner or different things like that, but it was that you were playing a dice game and your life was taken after that.
Yeah, and who they were shooting he was a bystander. So he wasn't
Right.
even involved
Okay.
in any altercation, like he was just there.
He's always been the most unproblematic person in
the group.
Right. And I think that even with that being said, I want to say that maybe the conversation is being had a little bit more, given that he was the most unproblematic, and also that the Migos are like this mega hip hop, group that I think that we haven't seen.
And their family, they're like they are all related to each other.
They're all related.
Yeah. So I think that would change. Because I mean, my journey with hip hop has been like, I came in late, of course, because it started before me. But from what my understanding is that hip hop was not always like this, or it's not what it is today. As far as the how it is performed, how the lyrics are shaped, and what is hot, what is popular, and different things like that. I heard that, or no, also there's several examples of how hip hop was, of a voice for, folks in the street and things like that. And as that started to shift, a lot of things came with that, I think. But I do think that people are starting to realize how this messaging, the way that this is being messaged and shared through hip hop is not helpful, or doing anything about the actual violence that's being said in our communities. But like I said, I think that, and I hate that it's this way, but I do think that Offset's death will have a conversation about, you know, the things that are being perpetuated in hip hop, but also what the streets and things look like.
Take off.
Take off, yes. Take
Okay.
off, yes. Take off. Sorry.
We don't want the Cardi people after us. You know?
Listen, yeah, yeah. Well,
So, but
take
yeah, we certainly, you know, send condolences and all that stuff. It's just terrible, and it's so unnecessary. The loss of life, you know, and just the regard that people have, because like when you're gone, you're gone. Like that's it. No more of anything. You know, and people get taken out from car accidents and random things, and you know, something so avoidable, you know, unnecessary. So it's to your point, Brandon. I hope that more conversations about just like the necessary need to use violence first for altercations, you know, and going for a gun first. I mean, people used to fight.
Right.
So yeah, it's a lot. Now, on the flip end, I actually want to touch on this. It's something that I wanted to bring into discussion with you both, because within that same week, as you all may know, Drake released an album with 21 Savage, and within one of the tracks, he mentioned more so just a shot at Megan Thee Stallion for what she went through in terms of her being shot. And I'm just gonna say it, I believe that it happened to her. I don't see a reason why any person would just make up all this stuff and go through all this just to create a situation. I get it, people do lie on folks, but nobody would ever go through this extent of persecution and torment for a lie. That's just me. Without, I mean, at some point you're just gonna say, you know, screw it, I lied about it, you know, if that was the case. I mean, most people would. But on the heels of talking about violence against Black men within the rap community, then you have a Black male rapper, or in this case, a biracial rapper, making fun of the violence that happened to a woman rapper. And, you know, I just don't know what that helps, but, you know, maybe it just speaks to kind of what you were sharing, Brandon, about the misogyny and some of the messaging within hip hop that's been promoted and how it hasn't been helpful.
I think that's what a lot of it just comes down to, especially with this. It's just what I really, the whole situation is, I mean, we've been talking about this for at least 2 years now. That's one thing. And also, it was so unwarranted that's just the part I think that really, really scared. Like it scares me. I don't like, that's the only word I can kind of say right now. It scares me how unwarranted that was. Like, I don't even, I wouldn't say that they've ever been in the same room. I'm pretty sure they have, or anything like that, but like there's no features, there's no, you know, anything with them, like to the point to where you want to bash her within your song. And then on top of that, I want to get into this too, because the fans are kind of killing me. You know, people were writing full articles about it, like, oh yeah, the words that he shared in that was really, really crazy. He shouldn't be talking about Megan Thee Stallion, but that song slaps. Like, I was just like, this is why they get away with this shit. Like, literally, like, this is why they get away with stuff like that, because y'all amplify them, as well as, like, I just acknowledge what the headline is, and that's not telling the story.
Well, it's we accept the bad stuff. Someone else was saying, I was watching another YouTuber, Eric De Niro TV. She had said, it's so funny how people are like, oh, they're canceling Kanye, you know, quote unquote, the corporations are canceling him because he said this anti-Semitic stuff, but when he said the negative stuff about Black people, they didn't cancel him. And she had said essentially, yeah, because the Black community didn't cancel him. We accepted it. We were okay with it. We were fine with this harmful language that said that slavery was a choice.
Yeah, I wasn't, but yeah, like the vast majority of Black
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because of what you thought you would do today. Like, it's just weird. Like,
yeah.
mess.
Who who alive can speak to what someone who was enslaved went through, you know? And
Right.
Right. Like, and he's like, oh
Life
my
or
God.
death.
He's like 15 years, like, or whatever years, like younger than me. You know what I mean? And like, he knows that, you know, in his brief time on this planet, that now he realizes that slavery was a choice. I would beg to differ, because I feel like all the things that he's done in the last 4 years is slavery. Like, I feel like it was a choice for him and he chose slavery.
You know, I
Yeah.
wish that musicians were like authors. Like, you just like that wrote fiction, like, oh, okay, you write, well, except for like J.K. Rowling, but like majority of your authors, you're not like publicly knowing all their thoughts all the time, you know, or maybe someone
No,
who
but he
paints a
wants you to
picture.
know everything and every single, and that's why he aligns with, you know, the former president, 45, Orangina. That's
But-
why he's like, oh, we share this tiger blood. I'm like, ugh, okay.
But what's the desire to come up in, I know we're shifting a little bit, but to establish a career as somebody, you know, in most cases, you're aware your career is about growing up in the streets and the hard knocks and the hard
Right.
and rapping against policing, right? And being oppressed, right? Those are your
Right.
two areas. And then once you get money, now you want to align yourself with the people that
that were a part of the oppression.
But how does that stay true to, but he didn't have to even do that. Like, it wasn't like he needed it to make more money or be more famous.
No, I'm telling you, when he said George Bush doesn't care about black people, that was the moment that made Kanye.
Okay.
Agreed. 100%.
Okay.
It was the moment.
100%.
But it was just a moment.
But it was,
people
I'm telling you it. But look where it led him to be, like, you know, king of the world. You know what I mean? Very Leonardo DiCaprio.
But how do you take one moment, one outspoken moment, right, and a emotional moment on television? Because stuff happens a lot on TV
and he
all the
was
time.
shaking, and his eyes were welling up. I mean, he was, oh my God, it was really.
Okay, he had one moment. He never became a civil rights activist.
No, never. No, nope, he never did. I mean, he never even spent much time in Chicago.
So
I'm just telling you, when I'm just telling you the moment that I feel that Kanye transcended was when he did that thing with George Bush, and he's like, Hurricane Katrina. He was like, nope, I'm not buying it.
But well, so here we are with Kanye West, the way where he is now. You have artists like The Baby, you have Drake, you have all these other artists, 50 Cent, like that push so much toxicity against women.
The baby selling concert tickets for 2 for 1.
Buy one, get one, baby.
Buy one, no, sorry. Yeah, well, yeah. Well,
Same thing.
Same thing. A Chili's 2 for 20.
He's like, but they're $22 to begin with, so that's a thing.
Oh my gosh.
He just had a post today, like with him laying in front of all these expensive cars. Someone had said,
it's a salad.
You know, cars appreciate first, and they're using the first things to go.
He should be buying designer handbags. Those go up in value.
Yeah.
I mean, they're worth more than gold. Like,
well, you know, chains, jewelry, you know, your wealth that you can wear. That's always smart. Yeah. But I don't know. Hopefully things. I don't know, like these conversations about violence, these conversations, I feel like a lot of these conversations are happening more and more now because of just some of these antics, and just as we look at the reality of some situations, like, okay, why are we okay with the song that has a dig against someone who was a woman who was shot? Like, And
This,
don't
yeah,
most, don't
like
let
I
people
mean,
know.
I'm not gonna like. I mean, I'm not gonna like bop to that. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
I'm like, what other parts of the song was attractive?
like what? But you know
listen to
what?
me.
Like people, especially misogynists, like someone who is not to be named, but they are okay with that. Like it's like they know they're a misogynist anyway, so they're just gonna say anything reckless about, you know, the abuse of a Black woman.
Right.
Because people accept it all the time. They always have, like for decades, a century, maybe.
Well, I mean, and maybe just because we're, not the hetero type, right?
Right.
I just always thought that as a man, you have an obligation to look out for the women, especially the ones in your family.
I always have been that. I've always been that homo.
Okay. That's why we have this show together, y'all.
Right. Right.
But
No.
because I believe certainly as a man, I have the ability to make life easier or harder for the women around me.
Absolutely.
And why would I like say something that's negative or fat phobic or whatever about someone regarding women, and I know that I have women in my family? Like that's why the whole Aries Spears thing tripped me up, because I'm like, this man looks like he's probably already been like a big guy for most of his life. Probably the women in his family are the phenotype, the physical type of what he's describing Lizzo as. Like, I don't understand.
I think it just comes down to misogyny, and also, like I said, I think the more that I've been saying this, or like just thinking about it, I think it's a little bit true. But like cis het men, especially I think Black cis het men, have never really had, like, not saying that they have not faced any type of, discrimination or anything like that, but I think within our community, they have always had some form of unwavering support that has been, just we've been behind them, with them, and different things like that. And I believe for Black queer men, Black queer women, trans folks, women and cis women, and different things like that, we know what that feels like. So I feel like we've always, tried to uplift and support each other on that front, to, not have someone in our corner or to have to find that village and different things like that. But I think Black cis het men have never had that problem. So I think that can be one of the ruling factors of how misogyny creeps in there, and it just takes off, in that aspect. So,
well, they always get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
that's like automatic. And I'm not saying, we shouldn't give people the benefit of the doubt, but there are some people within our community that are negative, that are harmful, that are intentionally harmful.
Absolutely.
And we can't abstain everyone just because, some people, like within every group, there are people that are doing good things and people that are doing positive things, So anyway, let me get down off my little box, but
we all had a box tonight.
I'm telling you, but I mean, I think that we're kind of at our end here. I mean, we covered some really good stuff. We have been chatting. What, Isaac? What?
No, I just said yay.
Oh, okay. I thought you said okay. I was like, what? You got another article? What we got to talk about?
I do not have another article. And everyone will be relieved that I do not have another.
I am too. At the time of us recording this, it's like almost 9 o'clock at night here. That's how much we're dedicated to you. We're bringing you content. We want to just stay in touch, stay connected at this special evening edition of No Homo. But I want to just turn over to you both. Any upcoming plans, events, things you want to shout out, things you want to let the people know?
I don't think I have any upcoming events as of now that are planned, but I just want to make a reference to last episode because I was gagging when I said I did just come off my trip from Mars. So, a lot of updates coming from that soon.
Oh my God. Because I told everyone it was like going to space for the first time. I said space, bitch, not Mars. Like, what the fuck?
Honey, it's there.
Yeah. You could be from anywhere. It wasn't just a planet. She
Got
gave you
you.
all the whole
Right.
atmosphere, all the space.
I was just like
You're
trying to
reducing
say that he was
yourself.
going up, you know, like the Bezos thing, and then coming right back down. No, he's like, no, I went to Mars. I think the new generation, they just have to like go all the way. Like,
Guys,
I
I'm
mean,
from Mars,
they
but you're
have
not
to
from
like beat us
Venus.
in every way. So
So
that's
emotional.
cool. But yeah, like I love the show. You guys are great. And you know what? I will be in a like, God, I'm not gonna say who it's for, but I will be in a political commercial soon.
Okay.
So yeah, that's just it.
That's
And
exciting.
We'll put the link in the description. Just playing. Just playing. I'm not gonna do that.
That's exciting. Congratulations.
thank you. But I do want you guys to subscribe, like, and share because you know we just like come to you real and give you who we really are every time that we're on this. So
Yeah, and comment and follow us on social media or whatever. I mean, we just want to create a little space and have a discussion every now and again, and that's the show. So we'll go ahead and let everybody conclude. Thank you all for being here with us again, and we'll be back soon with some more content, some more discussions, and enjoy the No Homo Show. Take care, everybody.